So, hi, my name is Tej Yale. I'm the founder and CEO of Think Impact. We're a marketing agency based out of Foster Hills, Michigan. And today I'm very fortunate to have Ms. Loren Hicks, the founder and CEO of Michigan Fashion Week. Thank you, Ms. Hicks, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Definitely.
And just so everyone knows, Ms. Hicks was kind enough to invite me to keynote one of her sessions within the marketing realm. So that's how we know each other. And so I appreciate you accommodating time for our interview today.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah. So the format that I have is I'll be asking a couple of questions, and people that will be tuning in, I'll open it for a while if that's okay with you for some virtual Q&A, and then resume with other questions that I have as well.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
All right, great.
Yeah.
So the first question that I had was, what drew you to be an entrepreneur within the fashion industry?
Okay, perfect. And just a little bit, I'm going to throw a little bit about myself so people can kind of get familiar with who I am. My name is Loren Hicks. I am the founder and CEO of Michigan Fashion Week. I'm also a fashion designer and a businesswoman. I went to Grand Valley State University in Grand Rapids. I studied statistics. And then from there, I know it's a large jump from statistics to fashion, but I was able to navigate my way to my passion. So you asked what kind of drove me to start Michigan Fashion Week?
Yeah, or within the fashion industry sector.
Yeah, so ever since I was a little girl, my dad always told me to own my own business, have your own company, own your own business. So I knew from a very early age that I wanted to have my own business. And so from there, I went to school, got my degree in statistics. I worked at Wells Fargo in Texas. And so from there, I knew I did not want to be punching the clock. I did not want to work the typical 9 to 5. I wanted to be in my own business, be able to work my creativity. And I've always had a love for fashion and sewing and design and clothing design. And so I have my own fashion. I actually still have my own fashion company. And being here, I lived in Texas for a while, and then I ended up moving back from Texas back to Detroit because my family was here, my friends were here. It was no place like home. So I ended up moving from Texas back here to Michigan, and that's when I started my fashion career, just my own fashion line. And I just saw a need for the fashion industry here in Michigan it was just a need for the industry. I had fellow other designers that we were always just talk about, like, oh, we need to get to New York, or we need to get to California to get our brand off the ground, and that's where we need to be. And so from there, it just made me think, like, why do we have to go to New York, or why do we have to go to California? You know, we can do something right here in our own home state. And so that's kind of where the idea of Michigan Fashion Week budded. I went to a couple of the fashion weeks in other cities and stuff and saw that we're not too much different. I mean, of course, they have more people and stuff, but the creativity and theatrics that they have, we can do it right here in Michigan. And that really drove me. This is back in 2012 to start the Michigan Fashion Week and to highlight the designers and the talent we have right here in the state of Michigan.
That's great. So when did I guess the next question would be, good segue would be for Michigan Fashion Week. What vision did you have when you first originally started? I know last year was the first time that I came, and it was a very great summit where you had different fashion designers and influencers within that sector. So what was the vision that you had, and where do you see it trending towards for future Fashion Week summits that you hope to host?
Good question. Good question. My mission for Michigan Fashion Week is to really connect the designers, the models, the stylists to buyers. I want this creative sector to really be able to make a living off of what they're doing. I want them to have income. I want them to have a business. So really connecting the fashion designers to Macy's, to some buyers at another store, to a buyer at a boutique. So that was really my goal, is to be that bridge between the creatives and the actual economics of the fashion industry. And where I see it now, well, with this quarantine all happened, it's going to all change. I think that the goal of Michigan Fashion Week is going to have to get reviewed. It's just going to be different. We got to see what's going to go on with how people are going to buy, how buyers are going to get clothes, what's going to happen with retail. So I think right now, that's a good question. We are going to have to change our mission, but what it is, I don't know. But that's going to be our goal, to really just be that connecting piece with buyers and designers.
That's great. So based on what you know within the fashion industry, do you see the industry trending to a certain direction based on the kind of the fashion insights and knowledge that you have? And how is Michigan Fashion Week trying to stay ahead of the curve, so to speak, in terms of implementing strategic events or resources?
That's a good question. And if you asked me that today versus asking me that 2 months ago, it would have been different. But I think now, I think the fashion world, from just what I've been reading, just kind of from Vogue and other places, is kind of going in a different direction. And what direction it is not very clear right now. But I think it's just something we just gotta wait out and just do our research, our market research, and see where it's gonna go. So that question right now is up in the air. But if you were asking me that a couple of months ago, I would have an answer for you. But right now, with the direction of fashion, it's just going to be a little bit different.
I will let your father know. Tell him to come see me.
Sounds great. For the people that are tuning in, I wanted to open this up for a virtual Q&A as well. If you had any questions for Ms. Hicks, for all of those that are tuning in.
Loren, I had a quick question.
Yes.
In your brand and fashion garments and things like that, are they all made in Detroit or USA, or why would somebody wants to buy from a fashion designer like yourself as opposed to the general array of fashion garments or anything that is available, so to speak?
Very good question. Yes, very good question. Well, some of our designers, some of them are here in Detroit, here in Michigan. They do make some of them, but some of them are kind of imported from overseas. And I think with each brand has their own unique design. It has their own unique niche or kind of feel on a garment. So what makes it different? I mean, we can use the homegrown sense, but not all of them are homegrown. But it is definitely the uniqueness of the design that I would say sells for any designer.
Well, the reason I'm asking is, especially with the current events that are going on, there is, how should I put it in a politically correct way, a consensus that Italy got hit because of the garment industry that was inflicted by China, traffic, and things like that. That's what they are saying.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at all the hot pockets and things like that, there could be some truth. I mean, I don't know, but I'm verbating with what the new people are saying.
Yeah. So right now, a lot of designers, maybe 50% of designers, are switching their garment making to here in the U.S. because of the the stuff that's happening with the import export right now. So yes, most designers and a lot of designers now, especially here in Michigan, are transitioning to garments being made here. And we're also working on different projects to make Detroit a factory industry. So with that being said, we're really looking to get those garments made here. So there's a lot of people that's working behind the scenes on getting factories actually here in Detroit. So that's definitely going to happen very soon.
So the consumers should really expect your garments to be on the higher side when you're purchasing from now on, you would say, as opposed to what it used to be, what we got used to for the last 20 years.
When you say higher side, you mean as in like
on the price, cost-wise?
The price?
Yeah, I mean, for example.
I mean, that's the challenge for all of us. I mean, we want to get it where it's affordable, but when it is made here in the U.S., yes, it is going to be a higher price.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because of the labor laws are different here.
Exactly.
That's just, I think, just the bottom line is just always it's going to be more here in the U.S. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Loren, I have a question.
Yes.
So how do you guys typically attract like the local crowd to buy your brand over like the larger worldwide commercial brands? Do you like specifically focus, clothing cater to say like the weather based in Michigan or like the the Midwest area compared to like say you'd like to sell your brand to the South? where it's much warmer. So like, where do you start from? Do you start off like from attracting crowd locally and then grow nationally, or how would
Yeah,
it
good
work?
question. Good question. So there's two sides that we can look at it. There's some people who want to remain local and do local, but there's some people whose target market is Miami, is, you know, if they're doing swimwear. So it depends on what kind of garments you're making or what kind of garments you're attracting. That will depend on where you will market your stuff. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's not just based here in Michigan. We want to highlight the designers that are here in Michigan, but that doesn't necessarily mean that their base is only here in Michigan and their target market is only here in Michigan. We want to make sure that we know who's out of Detroit, who's making stuff from Michigan, who's making stuff from Detroit. You see what I mean? So
Right.
no, it doesn't have to just be Detroit target market. And I actually encourage all of our designers to think more than just Detroit when they're marketing their garments and their clothing line.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Okay. Hey, Tina.
Are there any other questions, Ms. Hicks?
Oh, do I have any questions? Hold on, I don't have any questions.
Oh, no. I meant
I'm just here to share. Oh.
Guess to ask you, I guess. Okay.
So
Sorry,
yeah,
Loren.
so our goal is to really just develop the talent that's here, because we are we have a market here, and my biggest goal is to keep the talent here. We want to market here at first. So I mean, if you have a brand and you know you may not be able to pitch it to New York quite yet, or California quite yet, this is a market that you can start with. We are a smaller market, but I do encourage people to start here, but don't stop here. So, you know, the whole world is where we want to market to, but we do want to develop the talent that is here thus far in Detroit, Michigan.
Sounds great. Ms. Hicks, I know that you also have a book called 9 Wardrobes Essentials. Is there something that prompted you through fashion projects or fashion ideas that prompted you to write the book?
So that's a free giveaway. My book is called 25 Ways to Look Good. And that comes from my own journey, just being a fashionista. And I think that all women should always look their best and feel their best. So in my book, I give away tips for women to what looks good on their body type, what looks good on their skin color, what looks good for what they're doing and what occasion they're going to. So my inspiration is definitely for women to always look good and feel good. So that's the inspiration behind that book.
That's great. And so for those who are tuning in, I know that you have your own fashion line as well, as you briefly touched on at the Michigan Fashion Summit. So for those of people who are tuned in, is there a process that you go through, or could you just give some insight into like how the idea is initially formed to actually having the end product or the end design?
Really quick, we talked about the summit. So for those of you who don't know, I do the Michigan Fashion Week, which is a spotlight on designers and models and photography that's in the area. And I also do the Michigan Fashion Summit, which is the learning side of it. So we help designers from the concept to development, to how to source, how to just the overall process of how to sell your product, how to market your product. So we have an actual learning side of the fashion industry as well. And we teach models, we teach photographers, fashion photography, we teach blogging, fashion marketing. So we actually have a learning side as well. And then back to Todd's question, you said, what's the concept of developing like my clothing? Is that what you're asking?
For someone that would be interested in, like, say, having their own clothing line eventually, what process or what insights can you provide on how it's developed from inception to actually having the product itself?
Yes, I would definitely say, number one, make a move. manufacturer to look at or the prototype. You have to have some kind of prototype. So I always encourage, even when I talk to the younger people, have some kind of prototype for what you want to do. So even if you have a mood board, which means you draw out everything you want, or if you're good at sewing, if you want to sew your pieces together, or if you're good, if you have someone that sews for you, if you want to talk to them about what you want, make sure you find a way to prototype your garments. And then from there, definitely do your research. Maybe start off with how many you want to make versus how much it's going to cost you, versus if you have investors, if you're investing your own money, you got to get your budget in order as well, because it does cost money to start a line. So I always tell people, you know, one thing to have an idea, but it's another thing to actually implement it. And that costs money, that costs time, that costs resources. So make sure you just do your due diligence in finding your budget, where you want your stuff to go. Are you going to be manufacturing? Do you want to sell to a big buyer? You have to kind of really navigate on what you want your line to do.
That's great. And what would be your, I mean, obviously we're going through difficult hardships right now. So to aspiring entrepreneurs or current entrepreneurs, what would be an uplifting message, maybe to kind of, maybe they're down and out because of their business as well. So what words of encouragement could you provide that might?
Okay, good. This is, you know, although everything is happening in the world with the coronavirus and COVID-19, this is not the time to be down and out. We have free time. We have time to do anything and everything. And I encourage everyone right now to work on your business. We have a computer, we have tablets, we have phones, we have pen and paper. Write down your business. Do a business plan. All that stuff takes time. And guess what? That's all we have right now is time. So I would definitely encourage everyone, even if you want to just do an hour a day, a half an hour a day, just do something while we're down right now. Don't sit around and do nothing. This is the time to reinvent yourself. This is the time to launch a product. This is the time to just do it. I am just encourage everyone just to do something, whether you're updating your website, learning how to do a website, collecting emails for your email address. Do something. Just do something. So when we're out of this, all this time that passed, you have accomplished something. And yes, I'm not saying ignore your family, ignore your friends, ignore what's happening. You know, we all have to still keep in mind what's going on. But while we do have this time, you have to do something.
Sounds great. And then obviously with things going on, as alluded earlier, to like the things that are going on in Italy and all of that, is there some sort of strategy that Michigan Fashion Week has in mind to kind of in the future prepare for events like this? I know obviously it can't be predicted when these types of events will be happening, but are there tactics that you're implementing within your current business to take steps if another event like this were to happen in the future from a business and entrepreneurial standpoint?
Yes, I think so. I was actually talking to my team. We had a conference call last week. Yes, we do have different things that we are going to be working on if this was to happen again, and just where our direction is going and how we can help and what we can offer to what's going on. So yes, that's definitely in the works of what's to come. So it made us wake up, made us get on our toes a little bit more, because we didn't have a plan for anything like this. So yes, it definitely made us put together a plan and what we would do in case it was to happen again, and what we're going to do now to help the economy out, and help the designers out, and help the people that are depending on us out.
Okay, that's cool. That was another question that I had, like with all of the vendors that you work with during this time, are there things that obviously things change? So how are you able to sustain those relationships with the vendors that you currently are working with and keep that sustainable?
Interesting question. Well, right now with even like the designers, just to give them an avenue to, some of them are selling masks and PPE and stuff like that, giving them an avenue for that. And then just kind of just keeping that relationship open. Whatever it may be, just the lines of communication open until we both figure it out, because it's new for us, it's new for them. So just keeping the lines of communication open as we just kind of figure out and navigate how to help each other out.
Sounds great. And I noticed that you also talked about working with Tech Town, and I saw some of the events that you collaborated with them
Yeah.
for the Lip Bar event. Are you
Yeah.
working with other co-working spaces to promote local talent at a national level as well? And I guess the second question would be, what other organizations are you working with locally to kind of spread the word out both on a national and local level about Michigan Fashion Week?
Oh, good question. We're working with a lot of different companies locally. We did work with Tech Town. We worked with Lip Bar. We've worked with, if you're familiar with Isaac Industrial, we've worked with, I don't have it in the top of my head. We've worked with Nordstrom's. So it's just a matter of just getting those connections and just kind of everybody we work with, we have a different plan for them. So like with Tech Town, we just wanted to get that area of Detroit of the young entrepreneurs in in the tech world. And then with Nordstrom, we wanted to get the shopper that shopped at Nordstrom's in the beauty department. So each business that we connect with, we do have a different goal for them and with them. So I think it's just a matter of just working with everyone just to get our brand out there, however that relationship may look like.
Sounds great. And is there a way, because I noticed at the summit that you talked about earlier, you had different subject matter experts, within marketing and makeup and different industries. Is there a way that you can provide advice on how to leverage or utilize multiple relationships in different sectors that may not necessarily be in like your prime industry, but for them to kind of connect at an event like the Michigan Fashion Summit?
So you're asking like kind of connect with other people?
Yeah, like how to like leverage networks across different industries that can provide value.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a very important question as well. I think that we as individuals have to keep ourselves very open-minded. And I think that we actually have to network with people. And that means getting on the phone. That means emailing people. That means meeting and talking to people at events. So I'm really big on actually networking with people. I know a lot of times, at least in our generation, we've kind of gotten away from the communication and connecting with people, but I think that's a very important aspect in leveraging your relationships, leveraging different industries. I think you actually have to connect and get to know people and show people that you care about them and show people that you're interested in what they have to say and you're interested in what they're doing. I think that that's important just as being human, just we have to care about each other and we have to just talk and just see what we're doing, because at the end of the day, we all have a common goal, and that's to, feed our family, feed our children, and, doing the best we can in the life that we have.
Sounds great. Are there any exciting virtual projects that Michigan Fashion Week is working on, or any other events that you would like to plug from Michigan Fashion Week, or
what, Michigan Fashion Week, like I said, we just had a meeting last week. We are really in the redesigning stages. We just got off our big fashion week back in February, right before all of this happened, and we had an awesome, phenomenal week of events. And we're kind of restructuring on what we're going to do. We had some stuff planned for the summertime, but of course, all those are kind of, got discombobulated. So now we're actually restructuring to see what we're going to do either in the fall or even just next year. So we're really big on events and networking and connection. So we're just trying to figure out where we're going to go from there. So in the meantime, if you are a designer, if you are a stylist, if you are a buyer, if you're in any way in the fashion industry, still reach out to me. We have a directory of all of our contacts, and we would love to connect with you when we do have something planned in the future. So definitely still connect with us as we're repositioning on what we're going to do coming up.
Sounds great. And I know we had a couple of late people tune in. Did any of you have any questions? I know Tina joined. Were there any other attendees that had any questions for Ms. Hicks?
I had one quick question. I was
Yes.
always intrigued in this fashion industry in terms of how do you go about marketing your product? I mean, the big names like the Hilfigers or somebody else, they get into some fashion weeks and big center, so to speak, in Paris and New York or something like that. But when somebody is just starting out, how do you promote your fashion design and your fashion product to a market that is attractive and still get some revenue out of all that? What is the avenue basically one would choose as a young startup person in fashion industry?
Yep. So a young person in the fashion industry who, one, doesn't have a lot of resources, has no marketing, no network, I always encourage, we have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Those are all free avenues for marketing your product. We have the entire world at our fingertips on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. And I know a lot of people overlook, but that's like the #1 marketing right now. So if you're a young designer that you don't have a lot of money for, to be put in a magazine or to get a commercial out, or if you don't have that, you have these very powerful tools that's free right at our fingertips. So I will encourage any young designer, if you have clothing, take good pictures of your clothing, put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook. I mean, I'm really big at leveraging the social media because the social media is so powerful. I've sold all types of garments on social media to people I never even met, never even heard of. I have 2 lines. I have a women's line, and I have a young girls line. And I have my young girls line, it's from sizes 0 to sizes 12. We only do our marketing on social media, only on Instagram, only on Facebook, and I get sales every day from people I don't even know. So I will encourage any young designers to take advantage of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Those are very, very underestimated powerful tools.
Do you also have any influencers within your portfolio?
Any what?
Social influencers?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, because that.
Yes, and that's important. When you want to take that avenue, you do have to get a hold of some social influencers. It's a whole art to it, but yes, you want to get a hold of social influencers as well. Yes.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
Chris, I had another quick question as well. So from a networking and entrepreneurial aspect, are there any lessons that you learned along the way that you can pass on to any, aspiring entrepreneurs or people that want to start their own businesses?
Oh, it's a bunch of them, but for the sake of time, I'll just give you a few. My biggest thing is stay consistent. A lot of times, us being in the generation of the fast food, fast this, we think that success is going to happen overnight or our brand is going to be huge overnight, and that is not the case. We have to remain consistent. We have to be okay with a slow moving start. It's better to build a big foundation than to have this huge house with no foundation at all. So I encourage everyone just to stay consistent. I mean, sometimes it takes people 2 years, sometimes it takes people 10 years, but in the end, it'll be worth the wait. But definitely stay consistent. Don't give up. I mean, our success is just right on the other side of our consistency. So I will encourage everyone, if it doesn't work out this time, go back to the drawing board, do something different, launch it again. If it doesn't work, go back, do it again, and try it again. But stay consistent and just stay at it. Just stay at it. Don't give up. And I think I've always heard that growing up is don't give up, never give up, never give up. But being where I am now, I actually see the benefit of not giving up, not being a quitter. Keep on going. Be consistent. Keep on working at it because it is going to pay off in the long run. I mean, that's just the law of the universe. Whatever you put out, you're going to get it right back. So I encourage everyone to just keep putting out hard work and keep going at it and stay consistent.
Sounds great. Thank you, Ms. Hicks. I appreciate your time and accommodating our
Yeah,
interview
thank you,
there.
Ty. Just awesome. It was so cool how we connected. So thank you for having me on this
absolutely.
show. This is awesome.
Yeah, looking
Awesome,
forward to
awesome.
seeing more great events put on the Michigan Fashion.
Yeah, and
Week.
shout out to Tina. I have a women's entrepreneur group, so she's in my group as well. So if you are a young entrepreneur, or if you're a woman entrepreneur looking for an awesome network of women just to kind of encourage and hop on this journey with us. So you can definitely go on my website, Loren D. Hicks, to learn more information about my network. But I am really big on women. I'm really big on entrepreneurship. So just a shout out to Tina being a part of my group and everyone that's here. So thanks for coming in. Thanks for taking the time out to even listen to me. So I appreciate that. You didn't have to be here. So thank you for just coming out and hearing me chat with Taj.
Sounds great.
All righty. So yes, go ahead and go on my website, MichiganFashionWeek.com, to learn more about Michigan Fashion Week.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks again, Ms. Hicks. Appreciate it.
Thank you. See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Yep. Take care.